Alex adjusted his backpack as he stepped onto the space station's docking platform. The hum of engines, the faint vibration under his feet, and the endless stars outside the windows made his heart race. This was his first time off Earth, and he had been assigned a research internship on the Neutral Orbiting Station, a hub for humans and aliens alike. He glanced at the station directory. His quarters were on level 7 near the engineering labs, a small cabin shared with a roommate, something he had hoped would be human. But reality was always stranger than hope. When he arrived at the cabin door, a soft voice greeted him. "Hello," it said. Alex froze for a moment. The voice was melodic, calm, almost musical. He turned the corner, and there she was. Standing by the window was an alien female. Her skin shimmered faintly under the cabin lights, shifting shades like liquid silver. Her eyes were large, golden, and reflective. Her hair, or what passed for hair, flowed in thin, ribbon-like strands, floating gently as if underwater. She wore a simple jumpsuit with alien markings. "I am Lyra," she said again, bowing slightly. "You must be Alex. My records show you will share this cabin with me." Alex blinked. Yeah. Hi. Nice to meet you." He extended a hand, and she hesitated, then lightly touched it with her slender fingers. A strange warmth pulsed through him. He quickly shook it off. Lyra's voice held a hint of nervousness now. "I must tell you something. My species... We are entering mating season. It is... important, you understand." Alex froze again. He had read about alien biology for his studies, but never thought he'd live it. Mating season? What does that mean for... me?" Lyra tilted her head, her eyes shimmering with uncertainty. "It means I may have strong instincts. I must manage them. You must be cautious as well." Alex swallowed. Right. Cautious. Got it. He stepped inside, careful not to invade her personal space. The cabin was small but functional. 2 bunks, a shared desk, and a small kitchenette. The walls hummed softly with life support systems. Normally, humans and... "My species are not paired in such close quarters during mating season," Lyra said. "It is unusual." Alex forced a laugh. "Yeah, guess the station didn't get the memo. So, we just survive together?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. Survive and avoid complications." Alex unpacked his few belongings, still trying to process the alien roommate situation. Books, gadgets, clothes, simple items, yet they felt out of place in this cabin now. Hours passed as they arranged their shared space. Alex tried small talk, but Lyra's attention occasionally flickered to the subtle vibrations in the air, signals he couldn't sense. She seemed alert, almost tense, and Alex wondered if her species' instincts were already activating. Just as he thought he was beginning to understand her, the station's alarm blared. Red lights flashed. The intercom crackled. "Attention! Security breach detected in level 7. All personnel must remain in their quarters." Automatic lockdown initiated. The cabin door hissed and sealed shut. Alex stared at it. "Wait. We're locked in?" Lyra's expression hardened. "Yes. This is dangerous. The security measures are normal, but during my mating season, being trapped together can be volatile." Alex tried to remain calm. "Okay. Volatile how?" Lyra hesitated. "My species releases chemical signals, pheromones. They affect other beings differently. You may feel unusual sensations. Concentration and emotion may be altered." Alex felt his stomach twist. "Unusual sensations like what?" Lyra avoided his gaze. "Like sudden attraction, strong empathy, confusion. Do not panic. You must control yourself." Alex blinked. "Right. Control myself. Sure. Easy." He paced the cabin. The lights flickered slightly as the station's systems adjusted to the lockdown. The hum of life support felt louder, and he noticed a faint, sweet scent in the air, almost pleasant, almost distracting. Lyra remained near the window, silently observing. She did not seem threatening, but her presence had a strange intensity. Alex realized he had underestimated the effect of her species' biology. "I'll make food," he said awkwardly, heading to the small kitchenette. He tried to focus on chopping vegetables, boiling water, anything to distract himself. Lyra watched silently, occasionally floating closer, just enough that he felt a subtle warmth brush past him. Time slowed. Every sound seemed sharper. The scent in the cabin grew stronger. Alex could feel his heart rate rising, not from fear, but from something else, something he couldn't explain. He shook his head. Focus. Just food. Lyra finally spoke, her voice calm but firm. "You must not panic. I will not let anything happen beyond control. We are in this together." Alex paused, realizing the truth in her words. "Yeah, together." The station trembled slightly, a distant shudder, reminding them that beyond their small cabin, chaos might be unfolding. Alex wondered what kind of security breach could trap a space station and two very unprepared roommates together. Lyra approached and placed a hand lightly on the desk between them. "We must find a way to remain calm. Games, tasks, anything. Focus on work, not instincts." Alex nodded, swallowing hard. "Okay, let's figure this out." For the first time, he noticed her subtle smiles, small, almost shy. Despite the tension, Alex felt a strange reassurance. Lyra seemed disciplined, capable, aware of the danger. Somehow, that gave him hope. As the lockdown continued, Alex realized that surviving this first night would be harder than he imagined. But he also knew that understanding Lyra and respecting her might be the only way both of them could get through the strange, unpredictable ordeal ahead. Outside the window, stars glittered. Inside, two unlikely roommates faced the challenge of coexisting in a small cabin under the pressure of biological instincts, station security, and the uncertainty of space. And neither of them had any idea how complicated the next few hours would become. Alex sat at the small desk, pretending to work on his research notes, but his mind kept wandering. The cabin felt smaller than ever. Every glance at Lyra made him pause. Her shimmering skin, her floating hair, the soft glow in her eyes. Something about her presence felt alive in a way he could not explain. Lyra, on the other hand, paced near the window, her movements controlled but tense. She emitted subtle, rhythmic hums, something akin to breathing but deeper, a biological signal. Alex didn't know it, but those hums were part of her mating season communication. The pheromones in the air subtly shifted his mood. He felt calmer yet strangely restless, emotions twisting in ways he could not identify. "Alex," Lyra said, softly, breaking the silence. "I must warn you. The effects are increasing. You may start to experience unusual sensations, empathy, heightened perception, or distraction." Alex rubbed his eyes. "Distraction? You mean I'll feel weird?" "Yes," Lyra said, her voice measured. "It is natural. Your human physiology reacts differently to my species' pheromones. You must focus. Otherwise, small mistakes can become dangerous." Alex leaned back and sighed. Great. Just great. Trapped in a tiny cabin with an alien roommate in mating season and a security lockdown. What could possibly go wrong? Lyra tilted her head, a slight curve in her lips suggesting amusement. "I am trying to prevent anything from going wrong. That is why I asked you to remain calm." Just then, the cabin's AI softly chimed. "Warning. Biological signals outside normal parameters detected. Recommend immediate separation of individuals." "For safety." Alex froze. "Wait." What? Did it just detect you? Lyra's eyes widened slightly. Yes, the AI can sense pheromone changes. It may not understand, but it interprets it as a threat. We must be careful. Alex pinched the bridge of his nose. Fantastic. Now the AI thinks we're a biohazard. Lyra floated closer, careful to keep a respectful distance. We must manage the signals. Focus on tasks, distraction, games, anything to occupy the mind and body. Alex nodded. Okay, games. I can do games. He rummaged through his bag and found a small deck of holographic cards. How about we play this? Holo cards, strategy, minimal pheromone interaction? Lyra's eyes flickered with amusement. I will attempt to participate, though I am inexperienced in human games. They started the game, moving pieces and reading cards. For a while it was normal. Laughter bubbled quietly from Alex as he tried to outwit Lyra in the simple game. For a moment the tension eased, and the cabin felt like a regular shared space. But the relief did not last long. Alex began to notice subtle changes. His heart rate increased for no reason. Every small touch of air against his skin felt amplified. He glanced at Lyra and felt a strange, unexplainable warmth. The AI's warnings echoed in the background of his mind, making him hyper-aware of every movement, every sound. Lyra noticed his discomfort. Alex, are you feeling the effects? I think so, he admitted. My head feels fuzzy and, I don't know. Strange. Lyra's voice softened. It is normal. The pheromones affect your nervous system. You are not in danger, but you must control your mind and emotions. Focus. Alex tried to focus. He closed his eyes, took deep breaths, and tried to concentrate on the game. But every time he opened them, he felt drawn toward Lyra, not in a romantic way, at least not yet, but in a confusing mix of curiosity, empathy, and alertness. His body felt alive, hyper-aware, almost vibrating. I need a distraction, he muttered. Something to take my mind off this. Lyra nodded. We can attempt tasks, cooking, maintenance, anything to occupy your senses. Alex moved to the kitchenette. He started chopping vegetables with exaggerated care, trying to focus on the rhythm of cutting. Lyra joined him, carefully preparing a simple meal. The act of working together helped temper the strange sensations, though not completely. Every movement, every glance, still carried tension. Suddenly, the AI's voice broke through again. Warning, levels of pheromonal output increasing. Human response detected. Quarantine measures may escalate. Alex froze mid-chop. Quarantine? You mean they'll lock us in completely? Lyra's expression darkened. Yes, full isolation. That would be difficult. We must prevent the AI from reaching that decision. Cooperation and calm are our only tools. Alex's stomach twisted. Great. So, we have to trick the AI while surviving mating season effects. Easy, right? Lyra's eyes sparkled faintly. Yes, simple, in theory. Hours passed, and the lockdown showed no signs of lifting. The cabin was filled with the smell of cooking, the soft hum of the AI, and the subtle signals of Lyra's biology. Alex noticed he could anticipate her movements before she made them. He could almost sense when she was about to speak or shift position. Alex, Lyra said, breaking his thoughts, you are responding more than expected. You must remain aware. I can adjust my signals to reduce effects, but I require your cooperation. Alex nodded, feeling both nervous and impressed. Okay, I'll try really hard. Lyra moved closer and floated a small device between them, a pheromone modulator. This will help. It is a temporary measure, but it can give us time. Time to manage instincts and prevent AI escalation. Alex took the device, feeling a cool pulse from it. Thanks. I think this will help. Lyra smiled faintly. We must last the night. The station may take hours to respond to the breach, and during this time, we rely on each other. Alex realized for the first time that survival meant more than just avoiding danger. It meant understanding Lyra, her biology, and the careful balance between instinct and control. The night ahead would test patience, focus, and trust in ways he had never imagined. Outside the window, the stars glittered, indifferent to the tension inside the cabin. Inside, two very different beings faced the strange, unpredictable effects of alien biology, station lockdowns, and the beginning of a bond neither of them expected, and neither Alex nor Lyra had any idea just how intense the coming hours would become. The cabin felt smaller with every passing hour. Alex tried to focus on his notes, but the hum of the station, the gentle vibrations of Lyra moving, and the faint shimmer of her skin made concentration almost impossible. He could feel the lingering effects of her pheromones, subtle yet powerful, tugging at his emotions and thoughts. Lyra floated near the window, monitoring the small device she had placed on the desk. It helped dampen the pheromonal signals, but only partially. Her golden eyes flicked toward Alex frequently, noting how he struggled to stay calm. "You're still affected," she said softly. "Focus on a task. Even a small task will help stabilize your senses." Alex sighed. "I'm trying. I'm really trying. But everything feels amplified. My heart, my thoughts, even the air feels different." Lyra nodded, her expression serious. "It is natural. Your human physiology is not accustomed to this. You must not fight it, but also not give in to it." Alex pinched the bridge of his nose. "Easier said than done. I mean, we're trapped, right? Two beings, tiny space, mating season effects. It's like a science experiment I didn't sign up for." Lyra allowed herself a small, amused smile. "Perhaps, but you are handling it reasonably." Alex didn't feel reasonable. He felt a mix of curiosity, tension, and something he could not name. Every movement of Lyra's floating ribbons of hair seemed to ripple through the air and brush against his senses. He tried to ignore it, but the more he focused on ignoring, the stronger the effects seemed to become. A sudden beep from the AI interrupted him. "Warning! Biological readings reaching new thresholds. Quarantine protocols may initiate if signals continue to escalate." Alex groaned. "Oh, fantastic. So we have to calm down and make sure the AI doesn't lock us in completely." Lyra floated closer, keeping a respectful distance. "We must cooperate. I can adjust my emissions slightly, but your control over your responses is crucial. Small errors may trigger the AI." Alex blinked, then nodded slowly. "Right. Control. I can do that. Mostly." He tried to refocus by tackling small tasks. He started cleaning the cabin, straightening items, wiping surfaces. The mundane actions helped a little. Lyra joined him, moving gracefully around the cabin, adjusting equipment, organizing supplies. They worked in silence for a while, the small, shared tasks providing a temporary distraction. But the cabin's tension was like a taut string, ready to snap. Every glance at Lyra made Alex's chest tighten. Every slight motion from her made him more aware of his own body. Lyra noticed the subtle signs of stress. "Alex, steady yourself. Focus on what you can control." Alex exhaled slowly. "I'm trying. I really am. But this is intense." Then, an accidental brush of hands occurred as they both reached for a tool on the desk. A sharp spark of warmth shot through Alex, and he froze. Lyra's eyes widened slightly, and she quickly retracted her hand. "See," she said softly, "even small contact can cause reactions." Alex ran a hand through his hair, trying to calm himself. "Yeah, reactions. Got it. No touching. Totally safe distance. They continued their tasks, but the mental strain increased. Alex began noticing that he could anticipate Lyra's movements almost instinctively. When she reached for an item or leaned closer to adjust the device, he sensed it before it happened. The awareness was unsettling. Lyra's expression softened. You are adapting, faster than expected. But do not confuse adaptation with feelings. Control is still necessary. Alex nodded, though he wasn't sure he could separate the two anymore. His senses felt stretched, every detail amplified. The hum of the ventilation system, the shimmer of Lyra's skin, the subtle rhythm of her movements. It was as if the cabin itself had become alive, a living organism tuned to her biology. The AI's voice broke the uneasy calm. Warning. Continued pheromone levels may result in full quarantine. Immediate mitigation recommended. Lyra floated to the device and adjusted it carefully. This will help temporarily, but we must remain calm. No sudden movements, no emotional spikes. Alex leaned against the wall, taking deep breaths. Easy for you to say. You're biologically equipped for this. Lyra's eyes softened. Yes, but you are learning. That is admirable. Alex felt a small sense of relief at her words. For a moment, the chaos in the cabin faded slightly, replaced by focus. They moved with purpose, working together to manage the space, the tasks, and their reactions. Then, a sudden tremor shook the station. Tools rattled, the lights flickered, and the hum of life support wavered. Alex grabbed the desk to steady himself. Lyra floated in front of him, steady and calm, her eyes alert. That was minor, she said. But it reminds us, the station is unpredictable. We must be prepared for anything. Alex nodded, heart pounding. Yeah, anything. I feel like this day just keeps getting better and better. They returned to their tasks, but both knew the tension would not fade. The mating season effects, the AI's warnings, and the constant lockdown created a pressure cooker atmosphere. Every second required focus, cooperation, and trust. By the time the artificial night cycle approached, Alex realized just how much he had learned about Lyra. Not only her biology, but her patience, her discipline, and her quiet strength. And he knew she had learned something about him too. His resilience, his ability to adapt, and his surprising control under stress. As the lights dimmed to simulate night, Alex and Lyra sat quietly at the desk, side by side but still maintaining careful distance. The cabin was silent except for the faint hum of life support and the subtle signals of Lyra's biology. We'll make it through, Lyra said softly. If we remain calm, cooperate, and trust each other, this night can be managed. Alex nodded slowly, still feeling the strange pull of her presence, but also a growing sense of camaraderie. Yeah, we'll manage, somehow. Outside, stars continued to shine, indifferent to the tiny cabin where two very different beings faced the chaos of biology, AI, and isolation. And inside, Alex and Lyra began to understand that survival required not just control, but respect, trust, and cooperation. The night ahead promised more challenges, but for now, they had each other. And that was enough to face whatever came next. The next morning, the cabin felt heavier. The soft hum of the life support system no longer seemed comforting. It reminded Alex that they were trapped. The lockdown showed no signs of lifting. Outside, the station corridors were silent, empty, as if the entire place had paused in anticipation of something. Alex sat at the desk, tapping a pen nervously. I don't know how much longer I can keep my head straight, he admitted quietly. Lyra floated nearby, her golden eyes steady and calm. You are doing better than you realize, she said. Your focus has improved, and you are adapting. But we cannot rely on adaptation alone. Cooperation is necessary. Alex looked at her, confused. Cooperation? We've been cooperating, haven't we? Yes, Lyra said softly. But now the AI is preparing to escalate quarantine measures. It may lock down not just this cabin, but the entire section. We must prevent that. Alex swallowed. So, we have to trick the AI and survive the, mating season effects at the same time? Lyra's lips curved faintly, a rare sign of amusement. Precisely. They began their plan. Alex would manipulate the cabin's environmental systems to reduce detectable pheromones, while Lyra adjusted her natural emissions carefully. The two worked side by side, moving in careful synchronization, avoiding sudden movements that could trigger heightened reactions. Step 1, Lyra said, adjust the air filters. This will reduce pheromone concentration temporarily. It is delicate work. Alex approached the small control panel, glancing at the complex symbols. Delicate? Got it. Easy? Well, easier said than done. Lyra guided him patiently. Step slowly. Observe the readings, do not rush. Alex followed her instructions carefully. The hum of the ventilation system changed as he flipped switches and calibrated airflow. Sweat formed on his brow, not from exertion, but from the tension. One wrong move, and the AI might detect unusual activity and escalate lockdown measures. Once the filters were adjusted, Lyra floated closer. Now, we must regulate pheromones from my side. I can suppress natural emissions partially, but it will require your full attention to prevent accidental triggers. Alex nodded, focusing. Okay, I can do that. Just don't, do anything sudden. Lyra's expression softened. I will be careful. Trust me. For the first time, Alex felt a sense of teamwork that went beyond mere survival. They moved together with precision, sharing small glances, tiny gestures, and unspoken communication. It was a rhythm that relied on trust, patience, and mutual respect. Hours passed in careful coordination. The cabin no longer felt chaotic, it felt controlled. The pheromonal influence was less intense, the AI's warnings less frequent. Alex began to notice subtle changes, not in Lyra, but in himself. He felt calmer, more aware, and more confident. You're really good at this, Lyra said quietly, floating beside him. You adjust quickly and think ahead. It is impressive. Alex felt his face heat up, though he tried not to show it. Thanks, I guess. You're the one keeping me alive, literally. Lyra's eyes flickered briefly with warmth. Perhaps we are keeping each other alive. The moment was brief. A sudden tremor shook the station, rattling tools and sending a few items tumbling to the floor. Both Alex and Lyra instinctively steadied themselves, their hands brushing accidentally. A strange warmth pulsed through Alex again, but he quickly focused on the task at hand. Careful, Lyra said softly, maintaining composure. We cannot allow instinct to override control. Alex nodded, silently agreeing. Right. Control. Focus. Despite the tension, there were small moments of humor. When Alex dropped a tool, Lyra floated down to retrieve it, and their hands nearly touched again. They laughed quietly, the sound small but genuine. Even in the cabin under lockdown, moments of normality found their way in. But the AI was relentless. Warning! Biological output remains above recommended threshold. Quarantine escalation imminent. Alex cursed under his breath. It's like it has a sixth sense. Lyra adjusted the pheromone modulator again. We must continue coordination. One misstep and the AI will lock us in further. This will test our teamwork more than anything before. They moved to the maintenance panel at the far end of the cabin, adjusting circuits and recalibrating minor systems. Each movement was synchronized. Alex passed tools precisely where Lyra could reach them, and she adjusted dials in time with his actions. The work required patience, calm, and a deep understanding of each other's rhythm. As the hours dragged on, Alex began to realize that this cooperation was teaching him more than survival. He was learning patience, observation, and respect for an entirely different species. And Lyra, he realized, was beginning to trust him, not just as a companion, but as an equal in this strange, high-pressure situation. Finally, the AI's warnings slowed. Biological signals within acceptable range. Quarantine escalation canceled. Alex exhaled, relief flooding through him. We did it. Somehow. Lyra floated closer, a faint smile touching her lips. Yes. By working together, we overcame the immediate danger. But this is only temporary. We must remain vigilant. The station is unpredictable and the mating season is not yet over. Alex nodded. Right. Vigilant. Got it. But, wow, that was intense. They stood together for a moment, catching their breath, the cabin quiet except for the soft hum of life support. For the first time since the lockdown began, the tension eased slightly. They had survived a dangerous escalation through cooperation, trust, and careful management of biology and technology. Outside the window, the stars glittered, distant and indifferent. Inside, Alex and Lyra had faced chaos and emerged stronger, their teamwork solidified by necessity. They had learned to rely on each other in ways neither had expected, and as night fell again over the space station, Alex realized that survival was no longer just about physical safety. It was about understanding, trust, and respect, lessons that would guide them through the remaining hours of the lockdown and beyond. The real challenge was only beginning. The cabin felt different that morning. The soft hum of life support no longer seemed just mechanical. It carried a rhythm that Alex felt in his chest. He had survived the previous night's challenges, but the subtle effects of Lyra's mating season signals still lingered. Every glance, every movement seemed charged, almost electric. Lyra floated near the window, her ribbons of hair drifting gently, catching the light. Her golden eyes scanned the cabin carefully, watching Alex as he organized their supplies. Despite her calm exterior, Alex could sense her tension. She too had to manage her instincts, and it was taking effort. You seem more aware today, Lyra said softly, breaking the silence. Your control has improved. Alex scratched the back of his neck. Yeah, I guess. But it's not easy. Everything feels amplified. My mind, my senses, even small things. Get to me now. Lyra nodded. That is expected, but you are adapting, and adaptation brings understanding. You are learning to perceive more than you normally would. That can be useful. Alex frowned. Useful. Or terrifying. I never thought I'd be trapped in a cabin with someone whose biology could basically hijack my nervous system. Lyra's lips curved faintly, a rare sign of amusement. Yes, that is why trust is essential. We must rely on each other, understand each other, and manage instincts together. Cooperation is not enough. Mutual understanding is required. Alex exhaled, realizing she was right. Survival was no longer just about controlling reactions. It was about understanding her species, and how their interactions affected one another. Suddenly, the cabin shuddered. A minor tremor ran through the station, rattling supplies on the desk. Alex grabbed a tool to steady it, while Lyra floated in front of him, calm and precise. That was minor, she said. But it reminds us. The station is unpredictable. We must remain vigilant. Alex nodded. Vigilant. Right. Got it. They continued working in careful silence, side by side, each aware of the other's movements. The subtle gestures, the shared tasks, and the quiet glances created a rhythm between them. Alex noticed he could anticipate her actions before she moved, and Lyra adjusted her timing based on his reactions. It was during one of these moments that something changed. Alex accidentally brushed against Lyra while reaching for a small tool. A spark of warmth pulsed through him, stronger than before. Lyra's eyes widened slightly, but she did not pull away. Instead, she exhaled softly, and the tension in the cabin seemed to shift. "We must remain careful," she said, her voice calm but with an undercurrent of emotion. Alex nodded quickly, though inside he felt a strange mix of exhilaration and nervousness. "Right. Careful. Totally fine." As the hours passed, they worked together to maintain the cabin and manage the station systems. The AI's warnings had slowed, but minor alerts still popped up, reminding them that danger was never far. Each task required precision, trust, and cooperation. At one point, Alex adjusted the environmental controls while Lyra monitored the pheromone modulator. Their hands brushed again, and this time neither pulled away immediately. A quiet understanding passed between them, a silent acknowledgement of their shared struggle. "You are learning faster than expected," Lyra said softly. "Not just the tasks, but perception. You can sense more than normal. That is remarkable." Alex smiled, faintly. "I guess being trapped in a cabin with someone who can literally affect your nervous system speeds up learning." Lyra's eyes flickered with amusement. "Perhaps, but it is not just learning, it is connection. We are attuned to each other in a way neither of us expected." Alex paused, realizing she was right. The strange sensations, the heightened awareness, the unspoken understanding, they were forming a bond, not just of survival, but of mutual respect and trust. Suddenly, the AI's voice broke the calm. "Warning. Biological signals still above normal. Quarantine escalation may resume." Alex cursed under his breath. "Seriously? Can't it just chill for 5 minutes?" Lyra floated to the device and adjusted it slightly. "This will give us more time. But we must remain composed. Emotional spikes could trigger AI escalation." Alex nodded, taking a deep breath. "Composed. Got it." For the next few hours, they worked in silence, the cabin filled with the soft hum of the AI, the subtle vibrations of Lyra's presence, and the quiet rhythm of their own coordinated movements. Each action, each glance, each small gesture strengthened their connection, built not on romance, but on trust, understanding, and shared survival. By the artificial evening, Alex realized something important. He no longer feared the effects of her biology. Instead, he respected it, understood it, and had learned to adapt. Lyra, too, seemed more relaxed, her golden eyes calmer, her movements less tense. They finally paused, sitting on opposite bunks, a safe distance apart. The cabin was quiet except for the hum of life support. For the first time since the lockdown began, the tension had eased. "You did well today," Lyra said softly, her voice carrying a warmth that was new. "We managed the effects, maintained control, and prevented AI escalation. That is admirable." Alex felt a small smile form. "Thanks. Couldn't have done it without you." Lyra's lips curved faintly. "Perhaps we cannot truly separate survival from connection. We are better together, even under pressure." Alex nodded. "Yeah, I guess we are." Outside the window, stars glittered, indifferent to the small cabin and the beings inside. But within, a new bond had formed. Alex and Lyra understood each other in ways that words could not fully describe, a connection born of necessity, trust, and shared struggle. And though the mating season was not over, and the AI still monitored their every move, Alex felt something he had never expected: confidence. He knew they could face whatever the rest of the lockdown and the strange, unpredictable station might throw at them. The night ahead promised more challenges, but Alex no longer faced them alone. And 4, now that was enough. The hum of the station felt normal again, almost comforting. The lockdown had eased slightly, though the cabin doors still remained closed. Alex sat at the desk, reflecting on the past 2 days. What had started as an awkward, tense situation had transformed into something unexpected, a bond of trust, respect, and understanding between him and Lyra. Lyra floated near the window, her golden eyes calm and focused. The subtle shimmer of her skin was no longer distracting or tense. It felt natural, almost reassuring. She watched Alex as he organized their remaining tasks, noting how he had adapted to the constant presence of her species' pheromones. "You have learned quickly," she said softly. "Your control, focus, and adaptability have exceeded expectations. It is admirable." Alex smiled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Thanks. Couldn't have done it without your guidance. Honestly, I wasn't sure I'd survive the first night." Lyra's lips curved faintly. Survival required more than strength or caution. It required understanding, patience, and cooperation. We discovered that together. Alex leaned back, feeling a rare sense of relief. "Yeah, I guess we really did." He paused, glancing at her. "I never thought I'd say this, but I actually enjoyed working with you, even with all the, mating season stuff." Lyra's eyes flickered with a soft glow. "It was challenging, yes, but it allowed both of us to see beyond instinct, to learn, to adapt. That is valuable for survival and for trust." A soft chime echoed from the AI. Lockdown measures lifted, normal cabin protocols restored, biological signals within acceptable parameters. Alex let out a long breath. Finally. Freedom. Lyra's expression remained calm, but her eyes carried a hint of relief as well. "Yes, though the experience will remain with us. Lessons learned cannot be undone." For a moment, the cabin was quiet. The tension of the past days had faded, replaced with a shared understanding. Alex realized how much he had grown, how much he had learned about alien biology, human adaptability, and the importance of trust in extreme situations. Lyra floated closer, keeping a careful distance. "Alex, this experience has shown that humans and my species can cooperate effectively, even under extreme stress. Perhaps we have underestimated potential in cross-species understanding." Alex nodded. "Yeah, I never thought I'd be a part of something like this. But I get it now. It's not just about surviving, it's about learning from each other, respecting each other, and working together." Lyra's golden eyes softened. "Exactly. That is the essence of cooperation and mutual respect. Even instincts, when managed carefully, can strengthen bonds rather than weaken them." Alex smiled faintly. "I guess that means we're friends then?" Lyra's lips curved into a small, genuine smile. "Yes, friends. Perhaps even more, as time allows, but always with respect and understanding." Alex nodded. "Agreed. Respect first. Got it." They spent the next hour tidying the cabin and preparing a simple meal together. The small domestic rhythm, combined with their careful coordination, felt almost normal. They laughed quietly at minor mishaps, shared observations about the station, and learned small details about each other's habits and preferences. At one point, Alex accidentally dropped a utensil. Lyra bent gracefully to pick it up, and their hands brushed lightly. Unlike before, the warmth this time felt familiar and comfortable, not overwhelming or confusing. "You are becoming more comfortable with this," Lyra noted. "That is good. Comfort does not mean distraction, it means understanding." Alex nodded. "Yeah, I get it. We're in sync now." As the artificial day ended and the station's lights dimmed, Alex and Lyra stood by the window looking out at the stars. The universe outside remained vast and indifferent, but inside, two beings had learned to navigate chaos, biology, and technology together. "You have changed my perception," Alex said quietly. "I thought living with an alien during mating season would be impossible. But now I see it's not about fear or instinct. It's about trust and teamwork." Lyra's golden eyes reflected the distant stars. "And you have changed mine. I see potential in humans I did not fully recognize. Your resilience and adaptability are impressive." Alex felt a sense of pride, but also humility. "Thanks. I couldn't have done it alone. You taught me a lot about patience, biology, and respecting boundaries." Lyra nodded. "And you have shown me that even in extreme circumstances, cooperation can overcome instinctual chaos. That is valuable." For a while, they simply watched the stars, side by side but keeping respectful distance. The events of the past days had tested them, pushed them beyond normal limits, and forged a connection that went beyond words. Finally, Alex broke the silence. "So, what now? We survived? The lockdown is over? Do we just go back to normal?" Lyra considered this, then smiled faintly. "Normal is relative, but we have learned much. Perhaps we continue our work together, with caution, understanding, and trust. That is the next step." Alex nodded. "Sounds good. I think we can handle that." Outside, the stars sparkled, distant and constant. Inside the cabin, two beings, human and alien, had discovered that even the most challenging circumstances could create understanding, respect, and friendship. And maybe, just maybe, something more in time. As the station settled into quiet hums of normal operation, Alex and Lyra returned to their tasks, side by side, confident that together they could face whatever challenges the universe might send their way. The mating season had tested them. The lockdown had forced them to adapt. And through it all, they had emerged stronger, not just as individuals, but as a team. And for Alex, that made the vast, unpredictable universe feel a little less lonely.